Hi, everyone. Let me tell you a little story. It's the story of how the Book of Aeon came to be. So, there I was sitting in my office one day, minding my own business, when my husband, Dustin, strolls in with a grand idea. Rafe, he says, why don't we write a business book based on your coaching practice? Okay, so the fact is that coaches who write books have a better shot at getting notice and building a solid coaching practice. And let me tell you, building a coaching practice is no easy walk in the park. I think it's because the industry isn't really easily understood, and a lot of people don't really understand what life coaching is about. I'm not complaining. I love what I do, but I definitely dream of having a full coaching roster someday. The struggle of building a business? Okay, well, that's a video for another day. So back to the Book of Aeon. I thought Dustin's idea was brilliant, and we decided that we could write this book in 90 days. Seriously, how delusional were we on that score? Don't get me wrong, I know of people who have written books in 90 days, but it just seems like it's something that we don't know how to do. Anyway, so back to the business book idea. My job was to adapt the coaching principles that I use in my practice into a practical guide as to how to live a more mindful and present life. I've been using these techniques for years. Many of them have come from my own life experience, my spiritual practices, and what I've learned about the human brain and even quantum physics. Honestly, these techniques do work. So there I was trying to figure out how to structure this book, but I was hitting a wall. Nothing was coming to me. I was really and truly stuck. But then something really unexpected happened. My spirit guides decided to chime in, as they often do, and let me tell you, they had a whole different plan for this. No, they said, this isn't just any book. It needs to be a novel. And not just any novel, but one that weaves the kind of wisdom that helps people live a more mindful and present life. It's a book that is written to help people that are trying to navigate the whirlwind and chaos of modern living. So, while Dustin was off in Kansas for an extended stint last summer, I found myself alone with a pen and some paper and a head full of ideas. And that's when the magic truly began to happen. I started writing these strange and beautiful conversations between Aeon and Ash, two of the characters who seemed to come alive all on their own. I'd sit down and write, and before I knew it, hours had passed. Then I'd read back over what I'd written, and I'd be completely floored. I kind of recognized some of it, but a lot of what I was writing, I didn't remember. Seriously. Didn't have a memory of doing it. It was like the characters were telling me what to say. I don't know. If there are other writers watching this who have had this experience, I'd sure love to hear from you. What do you call it? Is it a creative muse, higher self autopilot, or maybe just some kind of magical miracle? I think I'm going with magical miracle. Honestly, I look back at them now and they are good. They are really good. Talk about creative flow, right? Well, when Dustin finally returned from Kansas, he jumped in feet first and began fleshing out that backstory. That's when Ash, one of the central characters in the book, truly emerged. Ash isn't just any character. There's someone navigating the complex and often painful journey of identity, growing up knowing that they're non-binary in a world that doesn't always understand or accept that. For Dustin and me, this story is deeply personal. We both grew up in ultra-conservative communities. Dustin grew up in the small town of Russell, Kansas, and I grew up in Witbank, South Africa. Back in the 60s when I was growing up, and in the 70s when Dustin was growing up, being gay was something that you kept hidden. It was something about you that you knew and you feared might be discovered. We both know all too well what it feels like to carry the burden of an identity that you can't share with the world. The thing is, and this is true for many gay people of that era, You were taught that there was something defective about you, that you were a mistake, and that you were going to hell. In fact, I'm not so sure that today things are different for many gay people growing up. The fear, the shame, and the constant worry that someone might see you for who you really are, well, that's a burden that we both understand and a weight that we have both carried. Writing the Book of Aeon was our way of exploring and expressing those experiences. But it's also about more than that. Today, the conversation around identity has become even more complex. We wanted to create a story that not only tackles these challenges, but also offers a sense of hope and guidance. Because at the end of the day, knowing who you are and being able to live your truth is a journey that we're all on in one way or another, no matter where it takes us and how winding the path may be. At the same time, this book has to be relevant for people who are struggling with a variety of challenges or just want to figure out how to live a happier life. Ultimately, the wisdom of Aeon, all those conversations I wrote, emerged into what we call the pillars of Aeon. These are 12 steps or pillars that are slowly revealed to Ash in the book. It all starts with purpose. The reason that purpose is the first step is that I believe that we each come into this lifetime with a purpose. Some call it a deep calling, and some even call it a soul contract. I think of it as the reason that you were born and the mission that you have to achieve in this lifetime. Once Ash begins to understand their purpose, the next pillar is revealed to them. Oh, and by the way, Aeon carries this book around with him, and he never lets it out of his sight. This mysterious tome, don't you love that word? Tome. It sounds so mysterious. Anyway, this book that he carries around with him contains all the wisdom of Aeon. And by the way, who is Aeon? Well, that part is a bit of a mystery. This book definitely has a touch of magic in it. We want the story to be complex, helpful to anyone who reads it, and it also has to include a touch of magic. After all, who doesn't love magic? And frankly, in my coaching practice, I show my clients how a touch of magical thinking can really help them see their life through a different lens. Later in the book, Ash will encounter a good dose of magical thinking, but that does not happen until they're ready. Another aspect of this book is that we have set it in Spokane, Washington. This is our adopted home, and we love living here. We have both been here since the 90s. In a lot of ways, Spokane is a character in this book, and all the well-known landmarks are featured and woven into the story. This is our love letter to Spokane. By the way, when Netflix or Hulu decide to make a TV series out of the Book of Aeon, we're insisting that it has to stay in Spokane. Just kidding. Or am I? Did I mention the manifestation part of the book? Aeon has some pretty powerful tricks up his sleeve. So there you have it. The Book of Aeon was born of a mix of coaching wisdom, spiritual guidance, and our very personal journey through the complexities of identity. It's been a wild ride writing it so far, but one that has brought us to a closer understanding of ourselves and the world around us. We hope it does the same for anyone who picks it up and reads it. Now, if you're curious about Aeon and Ash and what wisdom they might have to share, well, you're going to have to dive into the book and see it for yourself. Publication will be in the summer of 2025. So if you want to stay up to date with what's happening, be sure to subscribe to the Book of Aeon website and here on this YouTube channel. We'll let you know as more develops. Oh, and one other thing that I need to mention. If you are struggling with identity, please reach out to me via this link. I also coach folks in the LGBTQ plus community. I've been where you are, and I can support you on your journey. My focus for coaching includes identity, dealing with issues like being in the closet at work, and trust me, I've been there, I know that feeling. Relationships, and seriously, anything else that you struggle with. Just visit my website and let's see how I can help you. Okay, thanks for watching. If you want to know more about the Book of Aeon, please subscribe. In addition, I'm going to be posting some really personal stories about my own experience growing up gay. So if you subscribe, you'll be notified when those become available. Have a beautiful day, and thanks again for watching.